CFF presents 1% Better, a podcast about
CrossFit, nutrition, coaching, mindset, and community.
Join us as we embark in casual conversation to shed light on what life is like within these black and yellow walls. With episodes coming at you every Monday, you can follow along with Coach Whitney and Taryn as we talk shop about all things CFF. All right, episode 40. Welcome to episode 40. We have now put back 40 episodes of 1% Better. Did you ever think that we were going to do that? I feel like I say this every 20 and 30. We're like, when we got to 10, we're like, wow, we're 10 episodes into this, and now we're 40 in.
Okay, so I would say, is it bad that we've been doing this for a year and we're only at 40?
Well, there's 52 weeks in a year, so I say that's pretty good. We did 40 out of 52, trying to be on schedule to release one episode every week. That's a win. That's a bright spot podcast.
Are you starting a different podcast?
All right, today's episode is another special one. We have another client on to talk about their sort of journey with us and all the implications it's had and people that have been influenced along the way, which has been an extensive list, I would say, right?
Oh, for sure.
Our guest today is Jen Kriger. Jen, toss a hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the 1% Better podcast.
First of all, do you listen to the podcast regularly?
Yes.
Oh, so now you
Are you
get
being
to see,
honest?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
You get to see the internal workings now.
I do. This is exciting. This is like The Office.
Legit.
Yes.
But not really.
So today we brought you on here because we just want to talk about your journey, where you started. We want to talk about all the accomplishments along the way. We also want to talk about the different people you have impacted and that have been impacted by you. And as that's something that we feel is super unique to your story and our story altogether, actually. So I guess let's start there. Tell us how long ago was it? How many years have you been a member at CrossFit FUNCTION?
I am going into my 5th year, which is awesome. And I've loved every year, every day going forward. And I started not the old gym, but the old gym. And it was...
Thanks for clarifying.
Well, just making sure. I did see the old gym. I started on a ladies, I don't even know what it was called at the time.
Is it called boot camp?
Yeah, it was a ladies only boot camp thing.
Yeah, and it was a Tuesday morning and a Thursday evening. And I was pursued relentlessly by, I will give her a shout out, Joanne. And she got me through the doors, which was amazing. It was actually Nicole that was running it. And I remember coming out of that going, I thought I was in shape because I was a farm girl. Well, I was wrong. But it was good. And then, I went into doing my foundations and never looked back.
What did you enjoy about that little kind of ladies boot camp session?
You know what? It was actually...
Okay, hold on. Did you enjoy it right off the hop? Or did you have to I've committed, I now have to see this through kind of thing?
No, that was about 5 or 6 sessions in that I'm committed. I remember sitting on the couch. I remember sitting on the couch, and I remember looking at the clock going, okay, I got 20 minutes to get to town. And I looked at Corey and he's like, okay, you better get going. And I'm like, I can't, I'm done. I can't do it. And he's like, no, you need to go. And I got up and I went. So
we owe Corey.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. No, it was, you know what? It's the variety. It's honestly the variety of everything. I'd never done a gym before. I was no, I'm not doing a gym. Like I said, I come from the farm. I work out on the farm. But it's just the variety of everything. And then meeting people, of course. I mean, as everything. It was the meeting people and just how I felt coming out of it. It was that feeling that I did that. Wow, I did that. So I think everybody can say that.
I think your farm comment is interesting because obviously we hear that quite often around here with people coming in, obviously farming community, that I don't need to go to the gym because I do all this real life work on the farm. I'm actually working with somebody right now who had said the exact same thing to me.
Yeah.
And then you're faced with these movements that although you might do them and they look a little bit different out at the farm, they're actually really technical and challenging in a different type of way. But by getting ourselves better at this stuff, we'll make that farm life easier, right?
100%. Absolutely.
Did you think that going in, like that this would help you on the farm, or did that just became a byproduct?
That became a byproduct. I didn't think this was, like I said, I never stepped foot in the gym. I mean, I'll be honest, I'd never stepped foot in the gym. So thinking that I was going to take these movements, like real life fitness, right? And take these movements into what I'm doing day to day. Now it is. I mean, it's that when you hear that last rep, dig deep, like, and it's like, yeah, you know what? I've got 5 minutes left to do, or, you know, like we got cattle and we got to get this calf in, and I just got to pick this calf up and just get it, you know, into it wherever. Well, now I can do that. So, yeah.
So what was your primary reason for joining? Like what problem were you trying to solve? Like what brought you here? Yeah, Joanne kind of got you involved, but like what was the reason that you actually got started?
I wanted to feel better. Stay-at-home mom, and clothes weren't fitting. I mean, they fit, but I wasn't comfortable, you know, and I wasn't big on motivating myself. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll try this kind of food, or I'll try that kind of food. But I never could stick to anything, you know, and like I said, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I got 2 small kids. Well, how do I get out of the house for an hour and not have my kids, or, you know, it was I guess, I mean, going off track, but it's a guilt thing too, right? It was, how do I get out of the house, and I got these kids, and what do I do with them? How do I, you know, just get away from that?
For time for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you look back on that, so it being a confidence issue, prioritizing your time issue, how did you solve those things over the years?
I made it an hour to myself. I specifically remember when we were able to bring the kids in at the old gym, and they would go upstairs, and I would give them the iPad, and I would look at them, and I would say, this is my time. This is my hour. You do not get to bother me for 1 hour out of the whole day.
Like, you tell them that?
I told them that many times, because I said, I made it. I need this. I mean, even now, like, and my kids go to school, and even now, Corey will look at me, go to the gym. You need.
So, because that's a conversation I have with a lot of like potential clients when they're sitting here and they're in their no sweat intro with me, is that I don't have time. I have these kids, you know, stay-at-home moms, or just moms in general, busy mom life. You're running your kids to all these activities and things like that. Yeah. What sorts of advice could you give to these people who are on the fence, maybe that like want to be doing this, but aren't sure or don't know how to make it that important?
Find a babysitter. Find a babysitter. Even if you have to pick up a teenager and park them in the parking lot and open the back hatch of your car. Right now it's summertime. The bay doors are open. You can see them. The electronics. You need to find that. It's not even a question anymore as to do I, don't I? You will feel better about yourself. You'll be able to run after your kids. You'll be able to play with your kids. You'll be able to have the energy that a stay-at-home mom with little kids says, I don't have the energy to do that with my kids. Oh my word. You will have the energy, you know? And that's, I think a lot of moms, that's what they want. That's what they crave, is just to have that little bit of energy. Even after the kids go to bed at night, what's the first thing you do? You plop down on the couch. I used to do that. You know, I used to be that. I'll plop down on the couch, or you look at that load of laundry and go, oh, I don't have the energy for that. You will have the energy for that. You will. It's not even a question. It will come. It will come.
Will you say that it took time for you to get there? Like
practice.
Yeah, like practice. Like it obviously didn't happen like right away for you to establish like, this is my time. Yeah. This is what I need to be a better person. How long did you give yourself to like settle into that?
Oh, it was a good 2 years. Yeah, it was I had a lot of guilt. I mean, I did. It's even having the kids here. I mean, it was guilt, or I would drop them off at, you know, grandma and grandpa's, or, you know, I would leave for the hour, and I mean, I'm out of town. So for me, it's 2 hours, you know, it's a 20-minute in, and then usually, you know, you talk a little bit after the gym or whatever, and it's 20 minutes back out. So it's 2 hours I'm gone. But you know what? What's 2 hours? What's 2 hours out of a 12-hour day or, whatever. Like for you to give your kids that on, even if you're not giving them Monday through Friday, if you're giving that on a Saturday or if you're giving it on a Sunday, let's go for a walk in the park, rather than, let's watch a movie in the middle of the afternoon, right? Like, and that's where you can do that. Let's go play baseball. Let's go, kick the soccer ball around. You will have the energy to be doing that. So
do you think your kids notice a difference when you take the time to invest in yourself and do all of this stuff? Like how that impacts them and like seeing you with more energy and you in a better mood. Did your kids notice that?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was definitely, I wasn't, and I guess it goes again, not even the energy, it goes to the mental aspect of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I myself would get wrapped up in the smallest, stupidest little things and muddle them over in my brain. Like all day I would spend and I'd be like, and it could have been something as a text message that was sent to me and I would muddle over it. And I didn't have that release to ever forget about that, whether it, like, as everybody says, a bad day, you just did that release to be able, I'm not going to think about that for a whole hour. And that's okay. And then you come out of it and go, well, yeah, that was kind of like, really? Like, was it worth it? Was it worth me being in a bad mood all day over really, and it could be something at the time big, but once you forget about it and then you rethink it or you rehash it and then go, yeah, there's a different way I could look about it.
So kind of moving on that theme then, if your original problems to solve were confidence and prioritizing your time, obviously you have those things down now.
Yeah.
Where does that kind of go from here? What kind of brings you or keeps you coming back?
To the gym?
Yeah.
Basically, everything I just said, just being able to, there's still, I've been here going on 5 years and there's still stuff that, I haven't done every workout. And I'll come and I'll go, I've never done that before. Oh, I can do this, or leveling up. Even in this year's open, I surprised myself in a lot of movements over a long span that I was able to do. I would never have been able to do that. I'm getting stronger mentally, physically, confidently, just everything is just going up and up and up and up and up, right? And as
that becomes addicting.
It does. Yep. It does. Consistency is what Tara and Coach T always says. But it does become addicting. It really does. Because you think about it, you're like, yeah, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do a pull-up one day. I want to be able to do a chest or go on the rower. Or I just took the rowing club for the first time in 4 years. How many times have you offered it? But I'm still able to do stuff like that, right? So yeah, it's always something new.
That's cool. What's been your biggest takeaway or lesson aside from consistency, obviously, that you've learned in the last 5 years?
Biggest lesson?
Yeah, or takeaway, or the one thing that stands out that the gym has given you.
Friends. Of course you feel better, but there's the people here are just amazing. It is even last night, it was I chose to go heavier on a workout and, I knew I was going to not finish with everybody else, but everybody's just there. It's friends. I've made so many good friends along the way, and and they're true friends, they're really there. You can count on them. Everybody's here they want to better themselves.
Mm-hmm. They want to be here for their own reasons, but then we also have that shared experience with everyone else beside us. Yeah. And I think that's sort of what bonds us in the moment, but then that bond kind of carries outside of the gym. When people are sitting here in my NSIs, and that's the one thing I don't really talk about, because that's not something that's going to necessarily convince people to join the gym. That's not what they go searching for. But the odd time I'll get that gem that rough diamond or the diamond in the rough that comes through and they're like, I just need a social network. Yeah. And I said, right here, like, I'm going to tell you all the things that I would not normally tell another individual because this is what this place can do for you. And you just have to give it that chance. Right. Mm-hmm. And even the people that I think are the quietest, that don't step outside their comfort zone to go and create those networks for themselves, they get pulled in regardless, because that's just the nature of our community. Right. Like, yeah, I protect that culture very viciously now because it has such an impact on people.
Oh, it does. It really does. And I mean, you talk to the person in the box next to you and you take 5 minutes, you know, hopefully before the coach starts talking about, but you know, anyway. But you know, how are you doing? You know, and if you remember the little things and you say, oh, you know, like I was talking to a lady, how was your move? How's your new apartment? How is things going? You know, and you just develop a little bond, you know, and you can walk down the street now and go, hey, how you doing? You know, or you can come back here and you can, yeah, well, like, oh, this week was a little rougher, you know, like so-and-so or what, but it's
a lot of people say it's like the first time in their day that they feel seen when they come in here. Is that, you know, some of the times your family doesn't even celebrate some of this stuff with you or acknowledge it. And they don't get that type of commend at work. You know, their employers or their coworkers don't give them the type of appreciation or even see them for that matter of fact. And then they come to the most random place, which is a gym, and they walk through the doors and the first person to greet them is a 15-year-old admin who says, hey, how's your day? What's going on? Absolutely. Like, you know, so as soon as you step in the door, you're seen. I think a lot of people just like appreciate that, and that becomes pretty powerful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Can we circle back to your comment about going heavier on a workout last night and maybe why you went heavier on a workout? Because somebody in the back corner maybe had some weights that she was lifting that you could too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was already set in the car. Yeah, prior to us. So
tell us what happened.
Yes.
Okay. We were sitting in the car and
who's we?
Sorry. Mackenna, my 11-year-old who has been coming to the gym with me prior to COVID. She would come and she would sit upstairs, and I gotta first off start off with when she first came in, you, Taryn, were still working out. You had retired, but you were still working out. I gotta say that.
I still work out.
Yeah. Well, no, you do. You do.
Context of that
conversation. We'll leave that one alone. Edit. No, you do. But you know, and she looked at me and said, Mom, I want to be like Taryn one day. And you know, I said, you know what? At 4, or she was 4 or 5 when she said this. And you know, I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, great. You know what? You want that to happen? Not now, but you know, it will, right? And so she got into the teens program, and now she's flying, you know, doing some PTs with Whitney, and she's flying. So we're sitting and it's funny because we'll go home either after teens class or after whatever. And she's like, well, you know, I beat you doing that. I'm like, well, good. Like, better. Like, I'll give you somebody else you can go up against if you really want. But so we're looking at it, and she's like, well, Mom, you know, that's a renegade row. You can do like 30 pounds, you know, on the dumbbells. And I'm like, no. And she goes, no, you are doing 30 pounds is what she basically said to me. So
that's funny. I didn't know that.
Oh, she nothing less, you know. And I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, this is a moment where, you know, as a parent, you're always pushing your child to do better. You're always pushing your child to try new things. I didn't have an excuse as to why I couldn't grab those 30-pound dumbbells. So she had whatever you two were doing.
Like we were doing dumbbell bench press, and we started with 15s just to try. It was a new movement for her. And I was like, okay, that's way too late. So I sent her to go with the 20s. So she hauls them over, and here we go. I was like, is that tough? She's like, well, no, not really. So go get the 25. So she hauls them over. So here we go again. I was like, that doesn't look tough enough. And she's like, nah. And I was like, go get the 30. So she drags them back over, and one in each hand. Like, that's a lot of weight for her. And sure enough, I was like, I don't even think she's going to get these, to lay down and then get them up. No, she didn't even need my help to get them up. And I said to her, I don't know if I could do this right now. And here she is just repping these out. She did 10 of them, and just nobody's business.
Yeah,
And
that's
not
crazy.
one complaint this morning that her shoulders or anything was sore. Nothing was sore.
I'm pretty
on
sure
her.
I told her, I was like, I want arms like you when I grow up. Like, she's got some awesome arms, like, and just some strength. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So how did that evolve? Like, do you think it was just the fact that she was always with you at the gym when you were coming, and then was just able to get in herself? Like, did that just evolve? Did you encourage her to do it? Was it always her choice to do it?
Yeah, she's always wanted to come. Like, she's always been, I mean, they've spent, now many a time in the parking lot watching, as much as they can. And she's always wanted to come to the gym. She's always wanting to watch and wanting to see what other people are doing. And I've really left it in her court because with everything, try it. If, at least you gotta, like, if we're going to sign up for something, you gotta follow through for the year. But but this has always been something I've always wanted this to happen. I mean, I've always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, keep going with this, and now with that, she's doing the teen class and now she's doing some PT, she's feeling amazing about what she's accomplishing.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny because you'll give her shout outs to the class and, she kind of does that, but, I'll go to the car and I'll be like, how'd that go? So it's good. Yeah. And there's always, when we sign, because I leave it up to her, I'm like, do you want to do another month, another PT month, and yeah, I do, Mom. I'm like, okay, well, pick your movements. What do you want to move? Like, what do you want to learn? And then it'll grow from there, like, I don't want to force, I don't want to push, but I just want her to gradually.
Yeah. And I think I've always appreciated that about you and your approach with her. And I think it puts that like onus on her, like, this is her thing and this is what she wants to do versus this is what my parent is telling me to do, or I need to do this, or I need to be good at this. But like, no, she'll sit down and she's like, okay, I want to focus on this and this. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool that she gets to take that into her own hands.
Oh, for sure. Because I mean, at the end of the day, she's got to feel good about what she's doing. Yeah. Right. And she's got to enjoy what she's doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sure. And why is that, like, this shared thing, CrossFit? Like, why is that important to you and her? Because you guys get to share that together.
Oh, because it's just, I mean, what other real mother-daughter thing can you do where you can pick up a barbell? And I mean, during the rowing club, like, watching her doing even like, and I'm whatever movement she was doing, even you were standing beside me, Taryn, and just like she was doing it, and I'm just going.
I think she was deadlifting.
Yeah,
and
it was clean.
Was it clean?
I just looked at her. I was like, "Holy, you better pick up your game."
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah. And it's not. And even you as a coach, you're not forcing anything upon her that and I have full trust in the coaches here. She's never in any harm, never, like, she is able to do, and just her feeling afterwards. And, it rolls over so much into life, like the confidence that I know she has going to school. I mean, she does Taekwondo as well, walking into Taekwondo, just the confidence that she carries, that her head is always high.
Oh, yeah. Which is so important for an 11-year-old female nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with society. And
it might be a little bit biased, but I don't think there's anything as powerful as something like this for a teenage female.
Not even close. I wish this was around.
That's what I said too.
Yeah. Like, if I could shout out to every mom out there and say, get your daughter in this gym, like, really seriously. I mean, not even your daughter, even your son, like a child, the confidence that they have moving forward. And, they don't have to be the fastest. They don't have to be the smallest or the tallest. There's no, well, this is a spiel I've given moms before, it's like, there is never, okay, how do I put this, I guess, politically correct? There's never a, like a perfect size. There's never a perfect image. There's never a perfect, there's no uniform. There's no costume. There's nothing that goes in the fact that they come here and they move. Mm-hmm. And you know what? At the end of all of this 45 minutes, they can say, yeah, I did that. I was able to, like run, or, they'll do sprints. I've watched some of these kids and I'm like, I got to step up my game, because, these kids are doing amazing. Like, they really are.
And I think one of the other things too, and this maybe circles back to the beginning of our conversation, and this is just me observing the kids program from the outside. You have these 8 kids in here right now. And even before, when it was 15, that, like, take for example, when you had 15 and we would line them up at the end of the class outside, and now you guys need to work together. We're going to do our cool down run. You're going to run together in one straight line, and everybody's going to stick together, and then they're all high-fiving each other. I mean, some of these kids go to school together, but they may never talk to each other or high-five in a gym class, and here they're actively seeking each other out and giving each other that encouragement in a place that's completely different than what they're used to, So same thing, these kids are accomplishing things that they didn't think they could. So they build their confidence that way, but now they're being seen by these other kids, and they have somebody celebrating their every step of the way along with each other also. That's powerful to a kid. They may not realize it in the moment, and that's something that grows over time for sure.
And I think because they get to be equals, right? It's different than like competitive sports where it's like you're the fastest, all hail the fastest person, but like they're equals. And I think, and one of my favorite things is when the kids can watch the adults and see that happening in an adult setting where the adults are all equals, and it's the same thing in their class. And I think that's super important.
Well, a prime example is that when Cam was doing his workout, and you seen those kids,
for sure,
cheering him on, and Mackenna and I had a discussion about the discussions, and I guess kind of, another different path, the discussions that her and I are able to have after the gym, like we try and, work PT around like my class, or I'll do my class after, after she's done teens or whatever. So the discussions that come about from that, I've said to her, I said, Cam's he's a police officer, right? And, he like, if you're ever in trouble, he's the guy you're going to call. And, the fact that you got to cheer him on, and a lot of times.
And see him struggle and the nature of that workout. And I guess just for our listeners, let's give them some context. Cam was doing his open workout. I believe he was catching up on one he had missed. And it was the burpee box jump and dumbbell snatch one that was super gnarly, gross, took a long time. Kids finished their workout. They all went over to him, made a little half circle around him, and they're yelling and shouting, go Cam, go Cam. I mean, half these kids don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
And so, to give them the context that this guy's a police officer, this is who's here to help you. And in this moment, you get to see the other side of him, struggling, being a human being in that moment, where they may put him on a different pedestal when he's in uniform, that they're now equal to this guy who's trying to slug through this workout that they actually had just done. So that, I just stood back and watched that too. Then I had to get into it, but I stood back and just kind of took that moment in also, because to see 8 kids pool around willingly and shouting at somebody they don't know, that's cool. I don't know where else you could find something like that.
Well, and even during the workout, I think Sam was beside Cam, and every now and then I'd hear Sam go Cam, keep going. And like mid-workout, and I was like, oh my God, like what is happening? Like I don't teach this. They just figure it out.
Oh yeah. Well, and it is, I mean, they see that from the adults, it's, they're so impressionable. They're so, and I mean, what better impression to leave on them is, like you never leave somebody down, you're lifting constantly, and you feel good about lifting. You're never forced to, like you said, you never taught them to do that.
No.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I think that can like segue into, because you're good at this, because you always send me a message. I was talking to so-and-so and their kid really needs this, or she really needs this. What makes you so compelled to tell people about our gym, our community, what we do here? And like to tell them why they need to be here?
Is that adults or is that kids?
Both, because you've done both.
You've had an impact on both.
Both.
Okay, I guess kids. I mean, I'll be honest. Like it is. I mean, we've touched on it a couple different times, but it's you're 11 years old. Even I have a 9-year-old now. It is
with the awesomest mullet.
Oh, he is. Yeah, you should see. You got to see him right now. He needs a haircut badly. But anyway, society right now demands so much out of these kids, and we live in a tech world. Kids live on their phones. Kids live like it's a tech world, right? I try to keep my kids away from that right now, because there's so much more to accomplish growing wise, finding out who you are. Okay, well, focus on Mackenna. You're a girl. It's not going to get easier from here on out. She goes to Springside. It's a small school. High school is going to be, it's high school. And if you don't have the perfect genes, or you don't have the perfect this, or you don't have the perfect that, is somebody gonna make fun of you? And that in the back of my mind, it's always a worry on me. So if I can instill in her right now, again, confidence, you don't need that to feel good about who you are. And I guess I talk to moms and, I'm like, I bring in 3 kids, 4
Sometimes 4,
to the teens class, because they need to be here. They need to feel good about everything, just who they are, that you don't have to have the best of the best to be a beautiful human being from inside out. And this gym gives them that, it gives them, I can't even say the word confidence enough. I just, and especially girls, it's like you said, it's going to get harder. And even after high school, life is full of twists and turns and ups and downs. This is a year that we know about that, right? Well, you got to be able to roll with the punches. And even for these kids, school right now, wear a mask for 8 hours. It sucks. They come here, they got to put the mask on, but it's a different way of wearing a mask, get all that energy out, release it all, and in the wintertime, if it's cold outside, they don't even get to go outside. They have to stagger breaks going in the gym, and that's just the way that it goes. But endorphins make people happy. Well, who doesn't want to be happy? Go release some endorphins, become a happy person. And then I go home and Mackenna's doing, handstand push-ups against the wall, and she's just, it doesn't stop, it's just happy. So, and then adults, again, who doesn't want to be happy? Who doesn't want to feel good about who they are? Who doesn't want to feel good about, a friend of mine, it was her first time doing the open this year, and the text messages she was sending me, she's like, oh, this is awesome. I feel so good about I can't move, but I feel good, she was so pumped about everything. And her and I have been friends for 4 or 5 years, and it came up through a conversation. And I said, you know what? Give it a try. You got to step through.
What makes you recognize it in someone when you're talking to them? What is it, that piece of that conversation, or what might somebody say to you that makes it click for you to say exactly that? This is where you need to be.
What is CrossFit? No, it's I pass by and I see CrossFit or CFF, function, or I see it on Facebook. What is it? And, I'll be honest with you. I said, it's a gym without windows, or not windows, sorry, mirrors. It's a gym without mirrors. I said, everybody has the same gross look on their face. Everybody's sweating. Everybody is either lying on the floor or whatever, but you don't have to look at yourself. You look at somebody else, but no, it's, well, or else somebody will say to me, well, I kind of want to, I've been running, but I'm not consistent with it. Well, come here and somebody will hold you accountable for being consistent. You know, just come and get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So
I'm just still laughing at your first comment. I feel like I need to revamp my marketing and talk about how you can just look at other people looking equally as gross as you.
Oh, yeah,
And yet you've had such good success with referrals.
You know, look, you don't see it on yourself. You're looking at somebody else. No, and then even, I guess, going back to the beginning of the conversation, you know, I have another friend, farmer. Well, yeah, at the end of the day, when it's been a long day, you still got to have the energy to make supper, and you don't want to put Kraft dinner and hot dogs on the table. You want to make something good. You want to feel good afterwards. You know, there's still life. You still have to be able to continue with life. Well, come and get the energy to do that. You know, come and try it. So,
what's been your favorite memory that's come up over the last 5 years?
I would have to say 3 years ago, and going back to the open, there was a handstand push-up that was in one of the workouts. And I remember freaking out about it and just being completely paranoid because I'd never done a handstand push-up before. Never, ever, ever. And you texted everybody and you said, okay, you know what? Everybody's freaking out about this. Come in for, it was, I think, you took a Sunday afternoon. You said, come calm down. I will go through a little bit of this with you. And I remember doing that workout, and I think, did I get 8 or 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, they were one at a time, but you know what? That is a memory that definitely.
Why does that one stick out the most?
Because you're upside down and you're going up and that's not something, and I'm going to age myself here. That's not something a 40-year-old ever would think they could do, ever, without never doing a gym or being on a fitness program or accomplishing anything like that. That's not something that I would have. I'm in better shape now at 41 than I was at 25. I mean, at 25, I smoked. I was living life to the fullest, you know, and I feel great now.
Arguably, are you now living life to the fullest?
Oh, I'm living life better. Better. At 25, you're right. I'll correct that one. At 25, at that time, you know, in my life, that's like I thought was the fullest. But now I feel amazing.
So the reason I asked about the handstand push-up is because not a couple episodes ago, I sat down with Michelle and asked her what her favorite memory was. And it was actually just recently where she had got upside down. And it was just the fact of getting upside down. I'm not sure that she got a push-up, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She was upside down for the first time. That was a very pivotal moment for her too. Yeah. So do you think it's just one of those things that like it's a major confidence booster, you know, way more so than like maybe doing a heavy deadlift or something like that? Like just, it's not something that you actively picture yourself walking in here doing. Like it just, there's no context of it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one of those caught you by surprise things.
Absolutely. For me, just because of my lifestyle, like a heavy deadlift, like, I mean, this morning we feed chop to our cows every morning. You know, I picked up 4 chop pills and took them to the heifers, you know? So for me, like a heavy deadlift,
it's a daily occurrence.
It is, yeah. Right? Whereas, yeah, like, I mean, you know, that's, yeah, like you said, that's not something that I would have ever done. I mean, I was a fat kid growing up, like I was a quirky little child. Even a cartwheel for me was never achievable, right? You know, because I remember, I think a comment or whatever that was said, well, you know, you can't ever do a cartwheel. You're too big, you're too heavy, you know? So it's like, yeah, for me to be able to do that, it's like,
awesome.
Yeah, I can do that now. That's, yeah.
Well, even just as an adult, like we lose that no fear thing that kids have. So as an adult to do something like going upside down is scary.
Oh.
Like we're super hesitant to try new things and to step outside of your comfort zone on a regular basis. I think that is one of those things that we can provide here. So that is really cool.
I love teaching handstand push-up day specifically for that reason.
Yeah.
Because you'll get that one rare person that hasn't tried it before and just out of the blue, they decide to kick up. They might not even tell you that it's the first time that they're doing it. All of a sudden, it's just everybody's hooting and hollering because this person got upside down for the very first time.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, going back to like those shared experiences, 6 out of those other 8 people have also been upside down for their very first time. So they know how powerful that particular moment at that given time is for that person.
Yeah.
You know, so again, like more people celebrating something that is really big for you. It might be something small to like your family or, you know, you may not even go home and talk about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then that's a lot of things too. And for the longest time, I would leave here and I would leave what I did here, right? I mean, I'd share it the odd time here and there, but now, you know, I get home and I can now bounce this off my daughter, you know? So it's really cool now. Like you're saying, you know, what do you share with Mackenna? Well, now I'm sharing this kind of stuff with her, you know, like her and I can be talking about that kind of stuff. So yeah.
That's neat. What goals do you have now?
What's next on the list?
Yeah.
Well,
because you crushed the Open this year. That was big for you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was pretty
like, I think you surprised yourself in a lot of things. So I feel like that has now opened the floodgates to like, what are we achieving next?
Yeah. See, this is why I listen to your podcast. You guys put everybody on the spot. No, actually, I did say that next year for the Open, I'm going to do at least 2 out of 3 workouts intended, you know, how they're written. Yeah, as they're written. I'm going to give it my all, you know, just because of that. Yeah, that's what sits in the back of my mind. When I turned 40, I did do a 10K trail run. Yes. And that was a huge accomplishment for me. I mean, my kids were there, my husband was there. That was just something I never would have thought. I'm on the waiting list for 2 right now.
Cool.
Yeah, 2 25K.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to do it.
Thanks for not asking me to do it.
Hey, you know what? I think that bridge is, or that ship has sailed.
I signed up for the one with you.
You did. And then when I said, do you want to cancel? They're yes!
You canceled yours before I did. Let's just say
I did. Yeah. It was going into a weird part, but, I think, that's just something I felt really good about that one. So I think that's something that I can do.
Do you think it's because you since you never would have done this before, is it this I can do hard things mentality that you've gotten from being here?
Yes. Yeah. And don't quit.
Yeah.
Don't quit. Because really, where are you going to be if you quit? You know?
What is the alternative?
Yeah. You know, like and it goes back to we're all here. We're all doing the same thing. And irregardless whether you've got a different weight than I do, and you know, you guys have said it how many times, everybody starts somewhere, right? And I remember walking through those doors and going, oh, there's no way I'll ever. And I mean, I still look at stuff and go, no. You know, I'm gonna do what I can, even at that day, right? Like I'm gonna do what, and I'll feel accomplished at that day. Mm-hmm. And a different day I might feel different.
So I think that's kind of a good notion where we can end on. That's a good piece to offer advice to like our current members who might be struggling with some things, is just don't quit, right? Like you can do hard things.
Yeah.
What is the alternative? I say that often too. I agree. What, on the contrary, if someone walked in the front doors and was like, I'm not so sure this is for me, what would you tell somebody on the fence?
Why not?
I'm
going to try that marketing tactic too.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Well, really, why wouldn't this be for you? Like, I mean, even last night we were doing a sumo deadlift high pull. We were trying to figure out how does that's a 65-pound zipper pull. Like, we got that into real life. Somewhere we figured out that was real life, but why not? Why wouldn't this be for you? And this if you want to go and do stuff on your own, that's great. If you've got what's the word I'm looking for? You've got the ability or the
motivation.
The motivation, thank you. The motivation to do it on your own, that's awesome. I don't. I really don't. And I mean, I've talked to a lot of different people, and they've said the same things to me. They're like, well, for me to, even our running club, there's runs that we have to do on our own. Would I run better if somebody was beside me? Absolutely. But it's you still have to do it, right? But if you want to walk through those doors and go, well, I don't think this is for me. Well, why? What are you going to do? Like, where would you find a better community of people that only wants to see you succeed, that only wants to lift you up, give you a high five, give you a fist bump, ask you about your day, and really care about your day. Like, look at you and say, how was your day? Like, how was work? What happened here? Here's a prime example. One of the bad snowstorms. And unfortunately, Chad is not coaching anymore. But anyway, he texted me when I got home to make sure that I made it home. I mean, that was a coach that was here that made sure I made it home, and throughout the winter, there was lots of people, cars didn't start. Coaches were going to pick them up. Where else would you find a community that would do that for you? So why not?
Warm and fuzzies in here. I got goosebumps.
Yeah. And there's my why not. There's my 3 minutes of why not. That was
awesome. I think that's a great note to sort of wrap everything up. Your journey has been long, like 5 years. That's our average membership right now. That is fantastic that you're a leading part of that. I think it's so great how Mackenna is wrapped up in this, very powerful to set her up for success as she grows. And then just your influence that you have on people that you cross paths with, the way that you feel compelled to tell them that they need to be here, that in a casual conversation, they might be saying things that they're struggling with and how this can benefit them. That's awesome. And we truly appreciate that, you do spread the word in the way that you do, but you have such intention behind it. You mean every word that you say. You've experienced most of those things yourself and now can rub that off on someone else. That's awesome. We thank you for that. Thanks for sitting down and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
As always, if our listeners have any questions, feel free to send us a message on any of our socials. Jen's happy to elaborate on any part of that conversation, or you can catch her in a 4:30 class.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. You're our episode number 40. Chatting with Jen.